What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to TTP Sports. The Phillies win the series over the Atlanta Braves. I wouldn't say destroyed them, but they win a very good game by a score of 7-2. Kyle Gibson, he battled out there and give you a very solid start. 6 innings strong, only allowed 2 earned runs. And the Phillies themselves, offensively, they were taking advantage of a lot of Braves mistakes out there. And the Phillies were playing small ball, stealing bases, getting RBI singles, barely any extra base hits, clutch put runners in scoring position. What is this? What is this Phillies team over the past couple of games where they've really struggled with runners in scoring position? They came out there today. It wasn't like that in the first couple of innings, though. Charlie Morton was doing his thing, but then when you get to that 5th inning, the Phillies just, they got to him. They got to him. And hey, I'll take that any day of the week. I'll take a series win over your division rival, the Atlanta Braves, every single day of the week. It's just a good game overall. And to bounce back from getting swept by the Chicago Cubs, even though that still leaves a sour taste in everyone's mouth. You look at this series, Phillies played a lot better. And now you're going into a 4-game series in Pittsburgh against the Pirates, who are not a good team. And you got to ride this series win against the Braves in the Pittsburgh. You cannot take Pittsburgh lightly, regardless of what their record is. They said that on post game. You got to go in there and put Pittsburgh in their place. They do have a lot of nice young players. O'Neal Cruz is a beast and a stud, but you got to find a way to beat that team. You got to find a way to take 3 out of 4. You got to win that series against Pittsburgh. In Pittsburgh, you got to win that series. You're going to have Zack Wheeler. You're going to have Nola on the bump during this time. So you gotta win that series. You got to win the series in Pittsburgh, but you get a nice series win over your division rival. And right now, let's focus on that and take it a day at a time. Like I said, small ball, though. Small ball was, the Braves had a lot of mistakes in that 5th inning. Troy Morton tries to pick off at first base. He completely misses Matt Olson. And then Robinson Cano at second base, lackadaisically allows Didi to get on base. Then you also get, a bunch of stolen bases from the Phillies. Nick Castellanos gets on base on a ball that probably should have been caught. That run eventually comes in the score. Alec Bohm's bat has been red hot, dude. Red hot. He's batting over 420 this month of July, and that is another multi-hit game for Alec Bohm. In this game, he drives in a couple of more runs as well. And overall, sack flies as well. Like I said, this was a really good, efficient game by the Phillies. And Kyle Gibson, I asked him yesterday to give us a good start. And he gave us a really good start in this game. It started out, the first inning, he threw a lot of pitches, and that's guaranteed because the Braves, they're a good lineup. They're going to make it work. And they did just that. But Kyle Gibson, he managed to go 6 strong innings, 4 hits allowed, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, and a home run allowed in that top of the 6th inning to Matt Olson to make it a 5-2 ball game. 96 pitches. His ERA is now at 4.6. But like I said, overall, it was just very efficient. And actually, going into this ball game too, the Phillies did have a chance to put a run on the board in the bottom of the 4th. You got JT leading off, getting on base with an infield single. You get Derek Hall also singling as well. Got a 1st and 3rd situation. Then Nick Castellanos swings at the first pitch and grounds into a double play. After that, though, you go to the top of the 5th inning. And I think this was very huge for the Phillies bats as well, what Kyle Gibson did here. Top of the 5th inning, he only threw 4 pitches. 4 pitches, 1, 2, 3 inning. Harris grounded out on the first pitch. Well, actually, he eventually grounded out on the second pitch. Ford grounded out on the first pitch. Robinson Cano grounded out on the first pitch. That is a huge inning by Kyle Gibson after the Phillies weren't able to cash in the bottom of the 4th. It allows the offense to get right back out there and get those bats back out there. So you go to that bottom of the 5th inning. Bryson Stott leads off with a walk. Nice at bat there by Bryson. And that's one of the things that, that compliment Bryson Stott. We all saw, at the beginning of the season with the first 2 months, April and May, he was kind of not putting up good at bats. But we saw in spring training, he was putting up a lot of good at bats, taking a lot of pitches, fouling off a lot of balls, and just getting into a lot of deep counts, making the pitchers work out there. From what Bryson Stott has been doing ever since getting called up, he's doing that a lot more. He's taking a lot more pitches. He's fouling balls off. He's working the count. He's making those pitchers work out there. And I think that's going to be leading to a lot more success for Bryson. He works a walk right here. He eventually moves to third base because Charlie Morton tried to pick him off at first base, completely missed Matt Olson, and Stott was able to go to third. And what does Alec Bohm do for that? He takes advantage of that situation. RBI single makes it a 1-0 Phillies lead. Then Didi Gregorius almost grounded into a double play, but Robinson Cano, lazy at second base. Ball bounces in the air above his glove, and both runners are safe at first and second. Odubel Herrera gets to start today. He lines one down the left field line, scores Alec Bohm, makes it a 2-0 Phillies lead. Kyle Schwarber being efficient in his at bat. It was a full count actually, fouled off a couple of pitches, got a pitch to hit. He drove it to center field, becomes a sac fly, scores Didi, makes it a 3-0 ball game. Odubel Herrera steals second base during Rhys Hoskins at bat. Then Hoskins works out a walk, got it to a 2-2 count, took the next couple of pitches for balls, and he worked the walk. So a good at bat by Rhys there. And then during JT Realmuto's at bat, Odubel Herrera and Rhys Hoskins decided to do a double steal, and for some reason, the second baseman was not trying to get Rhys there. So hey, double steal there. JT at the plate, another two runners in scoring position. Let's see what happens. And JT does just that. Singles up the middle, scores 2 runs, makes it a 5-0 Phillies lead. Efficiently, playing small ball, and, something that the Phillies really don't do this year. And it was nice to see. It was really nice. Taking advantage of the Braves' mistakes, being aggressive on the base paths, and being efficient with runners in scoring position, something that has been really lacking from this team in the past couple of weeks, especially this month of July. So that was really nice to see there. So you lead 5-0 going into the top of the 6th. And you wanted Kyle Gibson to have a shutdown inning. He doesn't do that. Leadoff infield single for Dansby Swanson, and Matt Olson crushes a home run to dead center field. But then Kyle Gibson manages to retire the next guy's 1-2-3. So I guess the damage was done there. 5-2 ball game. Kyle Gibson would be done after 6 innings. But then the Phillies respond in the bottom of the 6th, though. That's what's really important. That's what I like to see. Nick Castellanos, like I said, he doubled on a ball that really should have been caught out there in right field. Just, the second baseman and the right fielder, for some reason, miscommunication. The ball drops in between them. And Nick Castellanos, hey, he could have lackadaisically ran up the first base line thinking it was going to be an automatic out. He hustled to second base, ended up with a double. Then you get Alec Bohm out there, battles during this entire bat, 3-2 count, fouls off a couple of pitches. Then he lines one down the right field line. And it was funny, too, because the Braves were shifted down the right field line for him, and he still gets it down there into the gap. And it scores Castellanos, makes it a 6-2 ball game. And then Alec Bohm, during the Didi at bat, moves over to third base on a wild pitch. Didi drives it, and he hits a sac fly. Scores Alec Bohm, makes it 7-2. And there will be the rest of your runs there. Phillies, their bullpen comes out, does a very solid job. Connor Brogdon with some nasty stuff, getting 2 strikeouts. Brad Hand only allowed 1 base runner, but basically retired the rest of their batters. And then Andrew Bellotti came into the top of the 9th inning and did the job there. Allowed a 2-out single to Ozuna, but basically all is said and done from there. Phillies win this game by a score of 7-2. They're now 51-47 on the year, and they now control the 3rd wildcard spot for the time being. And you got to find out what happens tonight with the Cardinals and the Blue Jays, because if the Cardinals do lose tonight, you got to Phillies hold that wildcard spot by a half game. So, hey, take advantage of that. You take advantage of today's game, and let's see if the Blue Jays can help the Phillies out tonight. Let's see if that can happen so the Phillies can fully control that wild card spot. Even though technically they do control because they do have the tiebreaker with the Cardinals, it'd be nice to be a half game up in the wild card spot, just so you know. Be nice. But overall, going to the lineup today, very solid overall. Kyle Schwarber, he goes over again, but he does drive in a sacrifice fly, so he goes over 3 with 1 RBI. Rhys Hoskins, he goes 1 for 3 in this ball game with a run scored on a walk. JT Realmuto, very efficient day at the plate. He goes 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. Derek Hall, solid day at the plate for him as well, 2 for 4. Nick Castellanos, he goes 1 for 4. Bryce Stott, 1 for 3. Alec Bohm, great day at the plate. He goes 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. He raises that batting average up to 293. He's batting above 420 in the month of July. So his bat is red hot right now. And that definitely is going to give something to Rob Thompson to maybe move him up in the lineup. But who knows what's going to happen with that time being. Didi Gregorius, he goes 0 for 3 with a sacrifice fly in this ballgame. And Odubel Herrera goes 1 for 3 with an RBI double. So very solid overall. Like I said, Phillies go 4 for 8 with runners in scoring position. Very solid. Looking at the rest of the bullpen, like I said, Connor Brogdon, a very solid 7th inning, goes that full inning, 14 pitches, 2 strikeouts. Brad Hand, he allowed 1 walk, but was very efficient overall in the 8th inning. And the same thing with Andrew Bellotti, just very efficient, recorded 1 strikeout as well. So the bullpen remains the bullpen. They've been very, very good over the past, I would say, span of a month at this point. So that's very good to see. Very good to see. And now you got to look into this series against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Said this yesterday. Pittsburgh, they are a team that is 18 games below 500. They got some young names, though. They still got Brian Reynolds. They got O'Neal Cruz, who is a goddamn beast for him. 6'5" shortstop, can literally lights out throw to first base. Seriously, you hit a ball over to him, if it's gonna be a close play, he's gonna throw that ball 100 miles an hour to the first baseman. The guy's got a cannon of an arm at shortstop, and the dude's got a lot of pop in his bat as well. So O'Neal Cruz, a very exciting young player for them, but still, the Phillies, they gotta win this series. It's a team that's not good. Maybe bring some anger into this series. Okay, we got swept by a bad team in Chicago. We're not going to let that happen again. We're not letting that happen again. We're going to go into Pittsburgh, and we're going to put this team in their place. We're going to make them believe who they are. A bad team. Got to do it. You just got to take advantage of that wholeheartedly. If we look at the rest of the schedule for this Pirates series, you're going to have more of your better pitchers on the mound for 3 of these games. Going to have Zack Wheeler tomorrow. He's going to be going up against Zach Thompson. He is 3-7 with a 4.64 ERA. So overall, not good. His last start against the Marlins, he allowed 7 runs. Looking at his past couple of starts, 7 earned runs, 1 earned run, 2 earned runs, 2 earned runs, 2 earned runs. So the last start out of the last 5 was his worst. Let's continue that stretch, though. Let's continue that, putting some runs on the board there. You're going to have Bailey Falter going up against Jose Quintana. He is 3-5 with a 3.7 ERA. Looking at his past couple of starts against Miami, 0 earned runs, but then in his next 4 starts, 6 earned runs, 4 earned runs, 1 earned run, 1 earned run. Continue. Let's, just whack these pitchers. You got to do that. Then you're going to have Ranger Suarez on Saturday going up against Mitch Keller. He is 3-7 with a 4.55 ERA. Looking at his past 5 starts, 3 earned runs, 0 earned runs, 1 earned run, 4 earned runs, 5 earned runs. Like I said, you just got to beat these pitchers. You do. Pittsburgh doesn't really have a good pitching staff. And then you're going to have Aaron Nola going up against JT Brubaker. He is 2-8 on the year with a 3.96 ERA. Looking at his past couple of 5 starts, 2 earned runs, 0 earned runs, 3 runs, 4 runs, 3 runs. Just got to take advantage. Got to take advantage wholeheartedly. And if you look at the Pittsburgh Pirates overall, I want to see some of their players too. So if I go to look at they recently got swept in a 2-game series by the Cubs. So basically it proves they're not a good team. So if I look at their lineup overall, you got, who is this? Kevin Newman leading off. You got Brian Reynolds batting second. You got Brian Hayes, Mitchell, O'Neal Cruz. He's batting lower in the lineup. He's batting 221, but he's got a lot of pop in that bat. O'Neal Cruz is going to be a really good player for this Pirates team in the very near future. But still, they don't have the best of lineups. They got some intriguing names, but they're not a good team. Can't take them lightly, though. Can't do what you did against Chicago. Got to go in there and put this team in their place. Because after this Pirates series, you're going to have a day off in between the Pirates series and the Braves series upcoming. Trade deadline is on August 2nd. You have a day off before the trade deadline. I do expect Dave Dombrowski to make moves. He said he's going to make moves, especially focusing on the starting pitching staff. There are guys out there that the Phillies can most likely go for. Merrill Kelly's out there from the Diamondbacks. He's been very solid this year. Guys, basically it's basically what Dave Dombrowski said. He's going to go after guys like, basically it's going to be reminding you of what a Kyle Gibson move type of was last year. Go after guys that are veterans. They've been in the league for a while. They can be in that bottom part of the rotation, and they have years of control left on their contract. And that's why I do think Merrill Kelly might be a very good pickup for the Phillies, because he does have 3 more years of control after this year on his contract. So that might be a very solid pickup for the Phillies that they can go after him. But still, there's many of other moves that they can possibly do for this starting rotation. They're definitely not going to be in on the very top guys, regardless of how weak the market is for starting pitching. Like, they got the Frankie Montazes, you got the Luis Castillos. Phillies are not going to be in on those guys. And still, they're not, even though those guys are like the top pitchers on the market this year, they're still not the best of names in the world. So even though they're the best players on the market, they're still going to get a haul just because, they are, who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? So we got to figure that out. He's going to go after starting pitching. I do expect them, like I said, same thing, maybe going out there and getting another outfielder for the lineup. A guy that, basically like I brought up Ian Happ a couple of times. I feel like he could be a perfect guy for the lineup. And then maybe just some depth for the bullpen. I do expect them to focus on the starting pitching more because from what David Dombrowski said, because with the whole Zack Eflin situation and everything, he's not going to rely on him coming back. So he's going to attack the market for starting pitching. So that's what I want to see from Dave Dombrowski. So we just got to see what happens. Because right now he's not making moves because teams are asking for a lot this early part near the deadline. But then once you get closer to the deadline, the prices are going to start coming down. And then you're going to eventually find the value that you want to make a trade. So basically, you're just going to have to wait for that entire stuff to happen. So yeah, basically right there. Got a series upcoming against this Pirates team. You gotta win this series. You gotta win this series. So who knows? You gotta put that team in their place. Bring some anger in. Think about the Cubs series and think about we're not letting this shit happen again. Not letting it happen again. We're gonna put this team in their place. Got to do it. You got to do it. Scott says just got home. First game he missed in about 3 years. What team? And thanks for the great recap on the Pittsburgh. Oh, yeah, no problem, man. No problem. It was a good win today. Good win overall. After getting swept by the Cubs, this series win is reassuring. It definitely is. Still have a sour taste from that Cubs series, but winning a series against your division rival, I will take any day of the week. You think Ian Happ will be a good fit? Oh, yes, I do think Ian Happ will be a good fit for this Phillies team because if you do go out there and get an Ian Happ. Like I said this yesterday, if you can get an Ian Happ, I feel like you could put Veerling in center field, put Ian Happ in right, and then you could DH Castellanos, which was he was originally supposed to be. And then you'll figure out everything when Bryce Harper comes back. You're going to have to do some 40-man shuffling regardless. Like I said, even the same thing for when Gene Segura and Sam Coonrod come back because they're both on their rehab stints in Lehigh Valley. So you're going to have to do some shuffling. Gene Segura, maybe you can expect him back next week after the deadline. That'll be a huge pickup for this lineup. And then whatever else Dave Dombrowski does. So, yeah, there's definitely going to be some moves. Right now, I do think they're focusing on the starting pitching a little more, which they should. Because, like I said, you just cannot rely on another Bailey Falter, Christopher Sanchez game, even though you're going to be getting that in the Pittsburgh series. That most likely will be the last Bailey Falter game you see this year, starting pitching-wise, because Bailey Falter, Christopher Sanchez, they're only going to get you 4 or 5 innings, and that's going to be very taxing on the bullpen every 5th day. You just can't be doing that, especially in the second half of the season. Ken says, so basically before every KG game, you need to say, hey, he has to have a huge game for us. Hey, Crux said they needed to treat this game as the biggest one of the year. Yep, basically. I said this yesterday, too, for Kyle Gibson. He needed to go out there and have a good game, and he did. He did. Should we be doing that for every single start? I don't want to, but if I have to, I have to. When I asked him to have a really good start against the Miami Marlins in June, he went out there and gave you 8 innings. When he wanted his revenge start against the Cardinals in that 4-game series, he went out there and gave you 7 shutout innings. So when you ask him to pick up the pace, he can. So hopefully he can pick it up. But like I said, Kyle Gibson this entire year has been like basically a wild card. He's either going to give you a really good start or a really bad start. This was more in one of those between, but still, this is more on the side of a good start from Kyle Gibson and something that you desperately needed from him to win this series. 4 for 8 with runners in scoring positions. It was really good. They were really efficient today. Basically 3 stolen bases. They were taking advantage of a lot of mistakes from the Braves. So they took advantage of a lot of it. They did. And it was something. One of my buddies in my DM just said, they show me, this is from Corey Seidman talking about just overall how the Phillies and the Braves matched up over the past 4 seasons. So Corey Seidman says Phillies take 2 of 3 from the Braves. In the past 4 seasons, the Phillies are 29-29 against Atlanta. The Braves are 76 games over 500 against everyone else over that span and 109-64 versus the rest of the NL East. And the buddy that posted it in the chat said, are the Phillies the Braves Marlins? So that is something to point out there. And also I saw this one tweet from Phillies Facts on Twitter saying that the 2022 Phillies record against the current National League playoff teams, against the Los Angeles Dodgers, they went 4-3. The Mets currently, even though they're still playing this, the series, the Phillies really right now against the only team that they're under 500 right now are against the Mets. They're 3-9 this year against the Mets with 7 more games left to play against them. The Milwaukee Brewers, they won that season series 4-2. The Braves, they're currently 5-5 against them with 9 games left in the season series. San Diego Padres, they won the season series by a score of 4-3, and they also won the season series against St. Louis 4-3. So the Phillies have won season series against really good teams this year. It basically goes back to that discussion. You got to beat the bad teams. And you got a bad team coming up in Pittsburgh for a 4-game series, and you're going to have a lot of bad teams coming up in this month of August. Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, you'll be facing a lot of those bad teams, and you got to take advantage of that. Even looking at the rest of the schedule, too. Like I said, Washington as well, Miami, Cincinnati, Arizona. Washington, you're seeing Washington a lot. So, and you're going to be facing Chicago again. So you got to take advantage of these series when they come up against these bad opponents. You really got to. And the Phillies, yes, have won more series than not against the bad teams. You just got to do it more in the second half when the games matter. And like I said, you got to go into this series against Pittsburgh pissed off against that Cubs series and take some of the, momentum that you had in the Brave series and put the Pittsburgh Pirates in their place. We're not going to let this shit happen again. You got to win 3 out of 4. You got to win 3. You have to win 3, and then we'll talk about what happens with the 4th game. But first, even though, like I said, you have to win the series, you got to take it a day at a time. You got to win the series. You're going to have Zack Wheeler on the bump tomorrow. You have to go out there and win for him. You have to go out there and win for Zack Wheeler. And especially for a Ranger Suarez, you have to go out there and win for him. And the same thing for Aaron Nola. Aaron Nola, I expect a way better game on Sunday for him than what he did yesterday against the Braves. Need a way better performance from him. Sean Fitzpatrick, do we revert back to the Cubs-like performance against Pittsburgh or build off this Brave series? We'll find out. We'll find out. Hopefully, I do think they will. I think they'll play a lot better against the Pirates. But right now, you got to take it one day at a time. Derek Hall should play most of the series. If I remember, most of their starters already. So yeah, Derek Hall's going to be in the lineup when there's already out there. And I do think majority of the Pittsburgh starters are right-handed pitchers. Sean Fitzpatrick says, love Brian Reynolds. I would love Brian Reynolds on the Phillies too, but I doubt Pittsburgh is going to move him, and he would be very expensive. And the Phillies just don't have the prospect system to give up for that, and Dave Dombrowski does not want to trade the top prospects of the organization right now. What about the pitcher we just saw, Marcus Stroman? Well, he just signed a long-term contract with the Cubs, so I don't think the Cubs are going to want to move him immediately. If they're, say, bad for another couple of years, maybe he's something that goes on the trade market. But right now for the Cubs, most likely their trade pieces are Ian Happ and Wilson Contreras. That's what I'm assuming at this point. Also David Robertson as well. Yep, got to get the series open. Yep, you got to win tomorrow with Zack Wheeler on the mound and set a tone for the series. You got to win tomorrow's game. And it all starts tomorrow. All starts tomorrow. So, yeah, that's basically where it is right now. Got a huge series win against your division rival, and now you got to go into a series, a 4-game series on the road against a very bad team, but you can't take them lightly like what happened against Chicago at home. Got to put this team in their place. And it starts tomorrow with your ace on the mound at Zack Wheeler. So we're going to find out what happens tomorrow. You take it one day at a time, and let's see what happens. I'm excited for this series, and I want to see this team take 3 out of 4 from Pittsburgh. Got to do it. Got to do it, and it starts tomorrow with Zack Wheeler. So that is where I'm going to leave it here, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for joining the stream. As always, I appreciate it. Do not forget to drop a like on the video. Do not forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Don't forget to check out everything in the description. Painted Lines, BrodesMedia. I recommend all that stuff. I also recommend hitting that subscribe button and also using the code TTPSPORTS, $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. Use it for anything that you can think of, sporting events and everything like that. I definitely recommend it. So, thank you, everyone, for joining here, and I will see you next time.